Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to another TradingView update. The resistance levels that we were looking at yesterday, both on Bitcoin and Ethereum, seem to be holding for now. We have indeed seen some selling pressure continue to come back into the market just because the market is that little bit higher, and those may be looking to sell at the lows of 3,000 and on Bitcoin at 40,000. Probably not as attractive as selling at 44 sort of levels. If we zoom in a little bit, we actually can see that we're starting to build a nice little solid healthy market structure where we've now found that initial resistance up at 44k. We're moving lower, testing what was previously a level of resistance just in here. What we want to see ideally now is a similar sort of move again, where we move kind of in this direction, probably test around 46, come back down, test this level, and move higher. And you'll remember that very nice trading corridor that we had back in October for Ethereum, where we just had this pattern play out for an entire month. And that allowed the price to really find some good standing and hit new all-time highs in a manner that wasn't necessarily a blow off top or anything unhealthy from that. So this is the sort of thing we're looking out for. The second scenario is that we continue to move lower still, in which case we'd be looking for more of a kind of double bottom structure. So we'd probably have half of it's actually already been kind of created, but we have this W coming in, test again, maybe even the third time, and then away we go, where you've now clearly got this level of resistance at 44k. Ideally, we want to see those higher lows being posted as we move along, just because it implies that overall selling pressure in the market as we move lower is just disappearing. And as we start to see that momentum from sellers switch more to buyers, this is just the sort of price structure that we would expect to see. Not really too much else to say apart from that on Ethereum. Now, on Bitcoin, the only other thing that I would say is that at the moment, this is quite an interesting chart that I saw on Twitter by an analyst called Will Clemente. That interestingly, it shows the perpetual swap open interest as compared to the overall market cap of Bitcoin. And what that essentially means is, so how many leveraged positions are there open compared to the entire market cap? And the higher that number is, the more chance that a liquidation event or the more a liquidation event actually impacts the overall prices or could impact the price move. The reason I say that is because if you have a large amount of open interest on these leverage positions in either direction, you could well start to see any liquidation take place, but there's just a bigger impact that those liquidations have if overall the open interest, or if there's more contracts open. And usually when we're now at these sort of levels where we are at now, we can expect to see not necessarily a move higher, but you can expect to start seeing some sort of fireworks and the price kind of springing back to life. Now on the Ethereum side, the ETH, again, similar sort of structure. We've encountered a resistance at 3,000, just under 3,400, moving lower. But again, if we zoom in, it's pretty clear to see that we're currently just testing this previous level of resistance as a new support. Again, I'd love to see this move high and move away, but not necessarily going to happen. If it doesn't, if this level fails to hold, we'll likely see a revisit of the 0.5 fib retracement between the May high and the July low in and around 3,000. So again, if that happens and this holds, prime kind of opportunity to look to buy more positions would be once this has taken place. Maybe even wait for another confirmation, and then we move higher, and that's when you start to build into your long positions. Now, the interesting thing on Ethereum is that we've not seen any liquidations really at all among shorts. If anything, you can see more longs actually have been liquidated. But what's interesting is that the funding rates, they're flattening out again. Yeah, so they were very stretched they were much more stretched to the downside. We're now starting to see that 0.01 kind of market standard, as you can see across the main exchanges, starting to creep back without the liquidations. And that just adds value, or it adds validity to the argument that this or actually no, it backs up the fact that you're seeing this open interest start to build up in the crypto markets, because the way for funding rates to move higher without any liquidations in the shorts, essentially you're starting to see more leverage now being used in the longs. So we've got open interest, we've got a lot of open positions on both the long side and the short side, without any real liquidations taking place yet. What that means is that if we start to move more definitively in one direction, that's when the fireworks could happen, and we could see some pretty quick price moves. Overall, we do hope and we do expect this low at 2,930 to hold. If we start to break down, if we start to move lower and start to form a structure that looks a little bit more like this, in that direction where we drop below it, we move higher, we retest that level as resistance, failed to break through and start to move lower, that's when we need to readdress our thesis, and see whether the crypto markets overall, at least Ethereum, will continue to move lower over the next few months. That's it from us this morning. Have a good day.